How opticians attract new patients has completely changed. Today, customers aren't just choosing a practice because it's close by. Instead, they're searching online, comparing services, and reading reviews before they book an appointment. At Ocuco, we've helped hundreds of optical practices, opticians, and optometrists boost their revenue through digital marketing. So in this video, I'm going to break down the marketing strategies and channels we see working right now so you can attract more patients and grow your practice. Let's get started. Why digital marketing matters. But before we get into the specific strategies, it's always worth taking a step back and looking at why digital marketing actually matters for eye care professionals in the first place. What's really changed is where patients make their decisions. For most people, the first impression of your practice now happens online, not only in your reception area. And once that first impression is formed, it's very hard to change. The data supports this. According to Statista, 75% of consumers in the UK and the US said they used Google when searching for local businesses. So this means if your optical practice isn't visible near the top for terms like optician near me, many potential patients simply won't find you, and you'll be left behind competitors who do show up. This is especially challenging for independent opticians. Most patients won't already know what makes your practice different, whether that's your expertise, your service, or the experience you offer. And without strong online visibility, they may never discover it. On top of that, a growing share of eyewear purchases now happen online, and larger chains are investing heavily in this. So you're not just competing locally anymore, you're competing online too. Local SEO. All right, so now that you know why it's important, let's get into the first strategy, which is mastering local SEO. SEO stands for Search Engine Optimization, and local SEO is simply about making sure your practice shows up when people nearby are looking for services like yours. These are for searches like optician near me or eye test in your city. These are exactly the searches patients are typing into Google. They're particularly important for opticians because the majority of people are only willing to commute a short distance to access eye care services. Now, when somebody searches with local intent, Google looks at 3 key factors to determine which businesses to show. First is relevance, which is how closely your eye care services match with what they search for. Second is distance, how close your practice is to the person searching. And third is prominence, which is basically how trustworthy and well-established your online presence is. And trust me, you really do want to rank as high as possible because the #1 result in Google's organic search is around 10 times more likely to get clicked compared to a result in the 10th position. All of this starts with your Google Business Profile, or your GBP. Your GBP plays a huge part in how your practice appears in local search results. Google themselves say that businesses with complete profiles are twice as likely to be perceived as trustworthy. So make sure your opening hours are up to date, your services are listed clearly, and you're regularly uploading recent photos of your practice. All of these actions send a strong signal to Google that your business is active, relevant, and worth showing. Another key factor that many eye care professionals overlook are online reviews. Actively collecting customer reviews is one of the most effective things you can do for your local SEO, and it doesn't need to be complicated. You can use a simple QR code at reception, or hand out a small card, or simply ask patients to leave a review as they're heading out. Those reviews don't just influence Google, they also influence your patients' trust. Now, one final thing on local SEO. You need to keep your details consistent everywhere. It is crucial that you do this because 80% of consumers lose trust in local businesses if they see incorrect or inconsistent contact details. So make sure your business name, address, phone number are all consistent across listings on Yelp, NHS directories, and other healthcare platforms. By the way, if you want us to analyze your current online presence and show exactly what's working and what's not, we offer a completely free digital audit for eye care businesses. Just click the link in the description to get yours. Let's move on to strategy 2, which is running smart paid advertising campaigns. There are a few different types of ways you can run ads online, but let's talk about Google Ads first. One of the biggest advantages of Google Ads is intent. Your ad only appears when somebody actively searches for something relevant like optician near me or eye test in your location. That means you're showing up at exactly the moment somebody is looking for your services, which is far more effective than hoping they happen to see a social media post. And with Google Ads, you stay in complete control. You decide how much you want to spend, where your ad appears, and when they run. You can focus purely on your local area and tailor your messaging to people looking for eye tests, glasses, and contact lenses. And importantly, you're not locked in. You can pause, adjust, and stop a campaign at any time. But a lot of opticians are skeptical about spending money on ads at the start. So let me give you a real example. One of our independent clients in England came to us looking to increase patient bookings. Over a 12-month period, their Google ad campaign generated 405 patient inquiries. That's an average of 34 new leads per month. And each lead cost just $13.74 in click fees, leaving plenty of room for a strong return. And Google isn't the only option. Social media advertising is also very beneficial. Having a paid meta ad strategy lets you place your practice directly in front of targeted audiences where you can showcase your latest range of frames, share practice updates, or run promotional events. It also means you stay visible to your people who've already visited your website but didn't book the first time. Your ads remind them about your practice so you're in front of mind when they're ready to book. High converting website. Let's move on to strategy number 3, your website and making sure it actually converts. For consumers, according to research from Stanford, 75% of a company's credibility is based on its website layout and design. Think about how often you look at your phone throughout the day. Now imagine landing on a website that doesn't load properly on your mobile. You'd probably leave and click the next result. And your patients behave in exactly the same way, which means it's absolutely essential that you have a website designed with a mobile in mind. This includes quick loading times, easy navigation, and a display that adapts to smaller screens. Just as importantly, it should make the next step obvious, whether that's booking an eye test, getting in touch, or inquiring about a product. To make that happen, your website needs to clearly guide people on what to do next. Booking an appointment should be easy to find. Getting in touch should be simple. Things like online booking and clear contact forms reduce drop-offs and turn visits into real inquiries. Trust matters too. Patient testimonials, regulatory accreditations, and clear privacy policies all reassure potential patients and increase conversions as a result. Email marketing. Strategy number 4 is using email marketing. With so much focus on social media and Google, it's easy to overlook email marketing. But email inboxes remain the most direct and personal way to reach your patients because email marketing delivers an average return of approximately 36 times the investment, according to Litmus. Imagine getting $36 for every $1 you spend. And for opticians, it works particularly well. Healthcare emails typically see open rates of around 34%, far higher than most social media engagement. With email marketing, personalization is what really drives results. Emails with personalized subject lines are much more likely to be opened than those without. And research from Rich Relevance has found that revenue is nearly 6 times higher in emails that use personalization. Something as simple as saying, "Hi Sarah, it's almost a year since your last test. Click below to book your next appointment," feels human, timely, and it works far better than a generic message. The good news is that a lot of this can be automated. You can set up recalls, birthday messages, or post-appointment follow-ups that run automatically based on your practice data. Many eye care professionals have replaced manual recall processes with automated patient recall email and SMS campaigns, cutting admin time and keeping their appointments fully booked. Email also builds trust between visits. Your patients might come in once a year for an exam, but that doesn't mean they should forget about you in between. Sending regular newsletters monthly or quarterly helps keep your business in their mind. That might include tips on caring for lenses, a behind-the-scenes look at your team, or a seasonal guide to sunglasses. Content like this builds trust and reinforces your expertise without being salesy. Social media. Our fifth and final strategy is leveraging social media. We've already talked about how to use social media ads, but let's talk about using it organically. Don't use your practice social media channels just to ask people to book an eye test. Mix things up. Combine posts about educational content, storytelling, and community highlights. That could be behind-the-scenes content, introducing your team in a light, human way, highlighting frame styles or brands, or sharing simple eye care tips like the 20-20-20 rule. The most important thing with social media is consistency. You don't need to post every single day. Even a few posts a week can change how patients perceive your practice online. Because patients who see you active on social media are more likely to remember you, recommend you to other people, and return for follow-up appointments. Becoming omnipresent. Now, let me bring all of this together because these strategies work best when you use them together. Brands using 3 or more channels earn a 494% higher order rate than single channel campaigns, according to OmniSend. The key is consistency, with the same brand voice, visuals, and tone across every channel. And remember, just as important as being visible is understanding what's actually working. You want a clear picture of how people are finding your practice and what's leading them to book. When you know that, it becomes much easier to focus your time and budget on the things that bring real results and stop guessing. But to be honest, there is a lot that goes into actually implementing each of these strategies, and I couldn't just cover this in one video. So rather than trying to become a marketing expert as well as a qualified optician, you can click on the first link in the description to book a free digital audit of your optical business. Our team will analyze your current online presence and show you exactly what you need to fix to start getting more patient bookings and online sales. Again, just click the link in the description to get your free digital audit, and I'll see you in the next video.